So welcome to the Social Selling Success Society, and we are doing the Social Selling Challenge. Thank you so much for showing up and being here, listening to the replay, or however you have come across this. It is my hope that this Social Selling Challenge supports you in growing your business this year. So today we are going to be talking about how to get people to know, like, and trust you online. And I have some interesting things to talk about because even though we have been in a connected world for some time, people are still learning the proper etiquette of how to behave online. And so as I was writing this, I thought it was kind of funny that a lot of the things that I'm going to start out with here and teach you are really things that are etiquette things that we know to do in real life, but for some reason we didn't apply them to our online world. Maybe we thought when they first began, when, even 10 years ago, and as all of these social channels have built up, then we looked at them as separate entities in the way that we interacted. And now what we're seeing is it is a lot of times replacing the person-to-person interaction. That's just the world that we live in today. Things are changing and shifting, but people are still people. They crave connection. They crave engagement. They crave to be seen, heard, and to feel like somebody cares about them. And so this is the kinds of things that we're going to be talking about today, is how you can do your part to create that for your customers so that you could magnetize people to you. Because just like in person, the people that have the charisma and know how to woo people, they use these tactics. Even if you are not by nature a outgoing relationship person, you can utilize these things and make sure that you are mastering the art of knowing how to make somebody feel valuable, making somebody feel seen. Even if it isn't your gifting like it is mine, then I want you to know that you can learn these things and you can practice them. And if you're going to work with people, as we are all created to serve other people. That is why we are here. And so it is really good for you to develop this. And a lot of what we're going to be talking about really comes down to emotional intelligence. If you have emotional intelligence, then you will be successful. People who lack emotional intelligence, they really struggle. And emotional intelligence is about understanding yourself and knowing how you are, and then managing yourself, as well as knowing how you are perceived socially and then managing that. So we're going to be going over a lot of those things, and it will help you to start analyzing your own behaviors, the feedback that you're getting from other people, and how people are responding to you, and it will help you to grow as a person. Because relationship is everything in our life, whether in business or personal. The better that we can get at managing our relationships and the people around us and managing ourselves, then we are going to be able to be successful in every aspect of our life, right? So as we get into this today, the first thing that I want to start with is what I call, and oh, by the way, since this is day 3 of this challenge, if you have not listened to the other challenges, I want you to know that they are available on audio, on a replay video, and so you can access those. There is a worksheet, a 1-document worksheet that can either be online fillable or a PDF that you can print out, and it is a very valuable tool for you. Not only have I made it so that it has all the notes of the things that we cover for you to review, but also it has a reflection page, and today's reflection is really important because what you're going to be doing for your homework and to reflect on what we learned today is you're going to be creating your own ideal client. So I actually have an ideal client, ideal customer profile sheet for you to get very clear, because what you're going to find throughout this training is that you really need to know who you're talking to. And I know that you are somewhat assuming, and you get to make choices about who you want to talk to. It also has to be who is caring about what it is that you have to offer. So that's going to play into it as well. But it's very important for you to be able to know who, so when you talk to them, they feel like you know and understand them. So we'll talk a little bit more of that. But it starts out here, the 5 golden rules of building online relationship. And so the first one is to ask and to listen. And so again, if we're thinking about comparing this to our in-person relationships, I want you to think about the people in your life that annoy you because they just talk, and they don't take the time to ask questions of you to see how you're doing. And then if you are talking, they are either disconnected, not listening, or they're just waiting for an opportunity to interrupt you. Now, I am an extrovert, so to all of you fellow extroverts out there, we think fast and we don't think about what we're going to say before we say it, and so it just starts to come out. So as an extrovert, we have to be really aware of this, and it happens online as well as in person. And we have to get better at forcing ourselves to truly engage, to be mindful and listen to what is being said before we just start to pipe off our replies. And then you also have to get better at, just because somebody says and ask you a question, that you don't just go on and on and on and not then make sure that you are not re-engaging and asking them a question as well. So hello, May. Thank you so much for joining me. So that's the first golden rule, is to ask questions and to listen online. We talked about yesterday that social listening is really paying attention to the conversations that are going on around when it comes to your industry, and making sure that you are paying attention to what people are saying. And even so much as when people say negative things or have negative feedback, to not just blow that off and get offended about it, but really get curious and ask yourself, what is it about them being upset? What can I learn from that? How can I get better? Is there a tool that I can create that can help them to understand that at a deeper level so that they're not irritated about it? So it is very important for you to get on your asking questions and listening online, because when people feel heard and they feel like you care about their opinions, so this is something that I did not do well at, because I read people really well. So it's really easy for me to just assume that I know what people need because I'm very intuitive. But what we need to be doing, all of us, is that we need to be doing polls, asking questions, and really making sure that we are listening to what it is that people want, their concerns, their problems. How can we serve them best is by asking them questions and really understanding what it is that they need. The next one is that your first impression matters. Just like when you're in person, people will judge things about you within the first 10 seconds. They will judge about what they think your wealth status is. They will judge things like how put together you are, how educated you are. They will perceive things from the clothes that you're wearing and the tone of your voice, the way that you look people in the eye, if you're confident or not confident. And so we need to make sure that we're aware that our first impression with people, when people first come across us, matters. So not only do we need to be trying to put our best foot forward as best we can, and paying attention to, I'm not saying that we need to be all dialed up and perfect, because we already talked about being authentic, but we also want to make sure, how do we want people to perceive us? And particularly when you're dealing with things in business that are around money, then you need to create a level of trust with people, and first impressions matter. Now, the other part of first impressions, besides just the visuals of them coming across your brand, the things that you're posting, you as an individual and how you are being perceived with the way that you're put together and things like that, you also need to pay attention to, what is that first impression that they have with you on the first interaction with you? Did they interact with you and you completely ignored them? because then what is their impression going to be of you? People get their walls up very easy. So we have to make sure that we are really valuing when people take time to say a comment, even if they're taking time to like it. Like, at some point we have to try to acknowledge them back, whether that's going and liking something on theirs or leaving a message and just say, hey, I just became friends and you've been engaging with my posts and liking them. I just want you to know that I appreciate that. So it's about how can you impress them from the very beginning to make them be seen and to feel like you care. Because remember, people don't care about what you know and what you have to sell and how great it is. They care about how you make them feel. And the next one is, do not kiss on a first date. Now, in person, we know that obviously times are different these days, but it's the old rule of not kissing on the first date. You don't want to be too forward. You don't know like where people stand a lot of times after that first interaction. But what that means in our realm of social selling is, do not try to sell to them on the first time you meet them. Do not friend them and immediately go and send a message to them and asking them for a sell. Hey, you might want to check out my page and, buy this. Now, I have a group, and so I have, when I first start interacting with people, if I know that they're a good fit, I might say a little bit about, like, I think you might be interested in my group because this and this, if you want to grow your business this year. But liking a group is not as forward as spend some money with me. And so I have people all the time that will friend me. I will friend them back, and within, an hour, I have a message in my inbox asking me to buy something or soliciting me somehow in a way that feels very forward, like kissing on the first date. And it appalls people. People don't want anything to do with it. If you do that to people, they will have a bad taste in their mouth, that you will feel slimy, and they will not feel like you can be trusted, because nowadays we need to give value and we need to build and earn trust even online before we are asking anything from them. And then the next one is show up consistently. And showing up consistently is like you having an open sign on your door. If you owned a physical retail location, that is what it's like when you're showing up on social media consistently. It is like you are having an open sign. It makes people remember that you're there, what you have to offer, and that you're serious about your business. Now, this is when it kind of relates to like people in person. I feel like if you just never were around, you have no opportunity to build relationship with people. If you just never show up, you never have that opportunity. And it doesn't build any kind of trust. There's no opportunities to build trust. So when we're showing up consistently, consistency and trust go hand in hand. And so that's more the reason why tomorrow we're going to be building out your social media plan so that you can have a plan to follow and a structure to then follow for the next 90 days after that. So I hope that you'll join me. I am actually going to be changing the time from 7 p.m. to earlier in the day. I'm going to be having to do it at 11 to 12 because I have a very important friend that's from San Diego that just is going to be in town tomorrow for one evening only, and I have to spend time with her. So that's what's beautiful about social selling and being online and stuff, is that we can choose our schedule and we can change things. I hope that you guys are okay with that, and I am going to be doing the live tomorrow at 11 a.m. instead of 7 p.m. Big difference, I know, but you can, if you come on at 7, then you'll see the replay already there for you to go. And so the last point of the 5 golden rules of building an online relationship is to take interest in them. Like I said, the way that we do that is liking, commenting, sharing. Like if you purposefully, when you see somebody interacting a lot with you, click on their profile and go and just scroll a little bit and see what you can do to support them back, because they're supporting you. And it shows that you also care about them, that you're not just, if we have ego and we're just wanting fans, then that's an influencer thing that's different, and there's a lot of people that created a lot of fans that don't make a lot of money. So excuse me. So sorry. I should have brought water in here. All right. So how you doing, May? Is there do you have any comments about that? So just to reiterate those, it's the 5 golden rules are: ask and listen, first impressions matter, don't kiss on the first date, show up consistently so they know that you're open for business, and take an interest in them. As you know, you want them to be interested in you. You need to also be showing. I know it takes time, but it is a very worthwhile task for you to do. Okay? All right. So I want you to know that social selling is all about connection. All about connection. It's about connection with them connecting with you and engaging and interacting, but it's also about your connection to them and connection points that we're going to be talking about. So how do you connect in a virtual world? So that's a section that we're on right now. And the first thing is that you need to find connection points. And one of the ways to find the connection points is knowing your ideal customer and the things that pain them, the problems that they have that you can solve. Because you can make connection with them based on their pains, their problems. But you can also find connection points with things that you're passionate about. It's so important for you to be able to create multiple levels of connection. So there is ways to do that. I'll give you an example, a very random example, but just to show you that things that you're passionate about, share them. So there is a woman that's an influencer online, has an amazing business. I just listened to her year in review, and she made $7.5 million last year. She grossed over 4.5 million. So she's a player. She's doing well. Her name is Jenna Kutcher, and she branded herself around being a macaroni and cheese lover. In her podcast intro, she says that she's a macaroni and cheese lover. She would post pictures of macaroni and cheese, and therefore people would think of her as a random thing when they would be eating or seeing macaroni and cheese, and they would engage back with her and send her pictures and things about macaroni and cheese. It was a connection point. And so think about it for you. What are some things that you might be able to introduce that could be a connection point? I had a friend that she had a passion for sailing, and so she started posting a lot of different things about sailing. And so she lives on the coast, and so she can then a lot of people from around her area might be interested in that kind of thing, and it got her some engagement. There's so many different things. It could be travel, it could be, coffee, it could be naps. Like if you're really, really passionate about something and you talk about it a lot, then that creates connection points. And anytime we can create a connection point with other people, then it makes them build trust with you. It allows that trust to be built up. So we want to do that as often as possible. Customers are more likely to buy from the brands that they feel connected to. Like I said, people are often not doing business with you because you are the best. They're not doing business with you because they think that, it's not even normally a price thing. Most of the time, it's because they feel connected to you. They want to please you. They maybe the reciprocity rule of you've given to them, so they want to give back. And so we need to do our job to make sure that we are connecting as much as possible so that we can take advantage of them wanting to then support us back. So connection fosters engagement, because when people feel connected and there's connection points and there's a reason to then engage, then it's easier for them. Now, if you're talking about coffee and then people who love coffee are so excited that they can then say something back to you about coffee, because that's a connection point. It creates engagement. And like I said, all of the algorithms now are really paying attention to engagement, because to them, when they're looking at it, if people are engaging and you're engaging back, that is showing them that you care. And they don't want to refer even as a search engine, because the big names of Google and Pinterest and YouTube and all of those, they want to refer relevant information and they want to refer reliable information. And so we need to make sure that we are engaging, because that makes us look reliable on these search engines. The next thing is to be authentic. People who are interested in you, when you show things about you and your true passions and share things about your personal, and you don't just keep it only business, then you are enabling them to see a more authentic you. When we talk about our passions and we're doing things that we're passionate about, we light up, and it's very attractive to other people as well. So I heard one person say, and they kind of built a brand around, let people see you're weird. Don't hide the things that are weird about you. So for many, many, many years, my husband was a Lego collector, and he did it kind of under the radar. Nobody knew. When we moved to this house and he got to have his Legos out and display them and have like this incredible office that he has, then he started posting things on Instagram, and he kind of let that out. And come to find out, he's created so many online relationships and connections through the Lego. And for many, many years, people didn't know that about him, and people love it. They think it's so cool. So there are things about you that you may even be a little bit like embarrassed about, because maybe it's just like your private thing. But I bet if you were to bring that out to the surface, then people would actually really appreciate it, and it would connect you with people. And when you have something in common, then it automatically creates that connection point, and it makes it easier to move the relationship to that next level of potentially working with you. So I want to encourage you to let people see you're weird. Don't be ashamed to be the real you. You are enough. You're amazing. Everybody wants to get to know the real you, and they will like you more for being weird. How you doing, May? Thanks so much for being here. So let's see. Okay, I mentioned it yesterday at the end that you want to tell lots and lots of stories. Stories connect people to you. They're also very memorable. When you tell something as a story, they are going to remember it so much better, because words turn into visuals. So when you're taking somebody on a journey through a story, it's easier for them to visualize it. And when they're taken on that journey with you, that you get their buy-in to the story. And so let's just say that you're telling a story of transformation, particularly on video, then they're really going to be connecting with you, and it's going to get them to buy in to that story that you're sharing with them. And so if you're talking about, let's just say, a journey of weight loss, then they're going to be on that they're going to be relating to maybe some of the things that you're sharing, and they're going to maybe want to know what's next after that, because they want to complete the story for themselves. It's a really magical, beautiful thing, stories. It has so much power. If you just even wanted to Google the power of story, you would be amazed at the content out there about stories. So good. Then the last point on here about connecting in a virtual world is ask people to share their stories with you. And that creates connection in multiple ways, because you are showing interest in them. You are gaining data that you can then use their story to share with someone else. And then they've had an opportunity to be showcased and share their story as well. And it makes them feel good. Everybody likes to be seen, heard, and understood. So that is my tip for you about stories. Definitely ask people to share their stories. Even if you're sharing a story, ask them, do you have a similar story? Or does anybody else have a cool story about this topic? Even if it's like, do you have an experience with this product that you would like to share? Because people love to share their own stories. They love to be heard and seen. All right, now we're moving on to the next page on your worksheet, and it is how to get people to know, like, and trust you by 5 ways to build trust with people. So the first way is to do live video. Obviously, if you're live, then they are seeing the real deal in the moment. They are getting to know you. They feel like they are getting to see who you are, and it builds trust. Live video is powerful. If people can see you and hear you, they will be able to build trust with you. I believe it's 67% faster. So it's really, really good. May just says that she should have heard that advice this morning of something that I had just said. So yeah, I'm glad that it is relevant to you. With what we're doing and putting ourselves out there and all of that, I just want you to know that it is a vulnerable thing, and we are real people and they are real people, and these are not, this is a serious thing of like, we have a responsibility. And it also is, when we're putting ourselves out there, it's vulnerable. Like, we are putting ourselves out on the edge for criticism or rejection or all the things that we're afraid of and we try to avoid, right? That's why for so many years I didn't go live, because every time I did, I felt so uncomfortable. But it is so good. And I was so proud of May. And then the storytelling, she shared her story today, that she had a story. So she went ahead and took action on that. But, oh gosh, what was I saying? Let's see. A live video, something about I don't know what I was saying. This happens to me. I have a really hard time switching my focus back and forth. Sorry. I'm sure it was just amazing and brilliant, but hopefully it'll come back around. All right. So do live videos. Live video is really, really, really important. I guess that's what I was going to say is about May went on a vacation to New York City and she started doing live videos. And I was so proud of her. And it was just really cool because you got to see her. She showed herself. You got to see the real May, and she's a very special lady. So I love that she did that. All right. So the next one is that we're talking about the 5 ways to build trust is reviews and referrals. So asking your satisfied customers and people that have had interaction with you, have some kind of a system or a template to ask people to give you a review. Because on Facebook, they can leave reviews. They can leave reviews on Google. They can leave reviews on LinkedIn. People can leave reviews for you in multiple places, and on like YouTube by there are, I don't know, I think there are like reviews that people can do there. There's something, and it's about subscribers and stuff too. But reviews are very powerful. It is social proof. When you see that somebody has a lot of good reviews, and we all know it, we all do it, when we are researching something, you look at the reviews. The reviews matter. Now, if somebody doesn't have any reviews, what does that make you feel? It makes you feel like, oh, should I trust them? There's not enough social proof here for me to know whether I can trust them or not. And so we want to be intentional about getting reviews. And you can even reward people in some small way. When I gave a review to my friend Reba for something she had served me in real estate, she sent me brownies. That was a pretty cool reward. I mean, it was quite an investment for her, I imagine. But it was really I was like, wow, that's amazing. That was like next level, like nice. So the next thing is reviews, but then we also have referrals. Asking people regularly to refer you to people, or asking for a referral is really good practice, because most people, again, if you've really proven yourself to be somebody who wants to serve and is really solid in your business, and you've become the expert in your business, how we're talking about doing, then people should be excited and happy to refer you. But if people refer you, make sure you write a thank you note. If people refer you, do a little something back for them. There were several times that I gave people business and it made them like good amount of money, and I didn't get nothing. And I don't really have an expectation, but at the same time, I noticed that they didn't even appreciate me. And so I'm sure you've all been there. We all want to be appreciated. So make sure you're appreciating other people when they give you good reviews or referrals. And a great thing to do too is somebody gives you a review or they have a wonderful testimony, then you can then share that on your social platforms as like a little post about that somebody said that about you. So you're kind of bragging a little bit on yourself. Perfectly okay, because people said it about you and you just want other people to know that those people said it. It's building social proof. It works like a charm. It's so good. All right, the next thing is to build trust is share the behind the scenes. Talk about things maybe in your personal life and how you've had to arrange things to make your business work. Like I said, I listened to Jenna Kutcher's podcast and she actually shared the behind the scenes of her income and her expenses. It was very interesting. I was all about that. I was going to stay to the end to listen to all of that. People love behind the scenes. So what is something in your business that could be a behind the scenes look? If you're on here now, if you're listening to the replay, tell me, what is a behind the scenes thing that you could do that could show people that they might be interested in? Maybe it could be a behind the scenes of how you prep for something. It can be a behind the scenes in a personal way, like this is how I take care of my health. Because people, if they're interested in you, then they're interested in all aspects of you. And the more that you show them and you let them behind the curtain, just like we love on Hollywood people, right? When they do those inside talks and the behind the scenes stuff, it's like, oh, you're getting to know them a little bit better. It's just a very human thing. Maybe for some than others. I mean, some people aren't interested in people the way that I'm interested in people, but I love behind the scenes. I think it's so good. So I really want to know, what is your behind the scenes ideas? Because I think that they could be really powerful for you. The next thing is, of course, be authentic. 100% authentic in that. In the beginning of social media and still happening today, people are building these curated brands that are so fake, so photoshopped, so not relatable. It is very important for you to find those connection points, and so therefore you want to be relatable. So the more authentic that you can be, I mean, honestly, for people like Gary Vee, if you know him, he cusses crazy. If you cuss, then don't be afraid to like cuss a little bit. I don't personally really cuss that much in my life, and so I don't ever do that. And I also have a value of I would never want to offend somebody, but for some people that would be being really inauthentic if you act like you never say a cuss word. And so I have a friend that she just started in her brand putting like, I don't even want to say it, like she started saying some cuss words. See, it's so funny. I really don't cuss that much, so it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. So the last one on building trust is, guess it. Can you guess it? Consistency. Consistency is what is going to build trust. So I told you that there were going to be some things that were going to be repeated over and over. And so by the end, I hope you know that above all, you need to be consistent. And that is the hard thing. So don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to support you in giving you the tools that you need. And I'm even going to have an offer at the end to help you take it even a step further if you so choose. So hello, Ashley. Thank you for joining me. The last section here is how to get them to like you. So we talked about basic etiquette online, of building those online relationships and how to build connection. We talked about building trust, and now we're going to be talking about how to get them to like you. So the first thing is that understanding your ideal customer, your ideal client. If you can understand them, then you can speak to them in a way that makes them feel like you get them. And if you get them, then you can help them. But the problem is that too many people try to speak to a very broad group of people. They try to speak to everyone. Well, everyone has a house that they could potentially sell or buy. Everyone has skin. Everyone should want to have to cook. Everyone should want to be in their best health. Yes, but if you don't know your ideal client and whittle it down to a very precise, almost where you can put and a lot of people suggest that you put a name to your ideal client, and every time you post to social media, do a video, talk, you are speaking to that one person, that specifically. And I already talked to you about it's very important for you to niche down, because if you are talking about too much of a broad topic, people won't know what you stand for, and you won't be able to build authority and expertise. Now remember, we want to be the expert, so when that subject comes up, people think of us. Even if you're in a broader market, you want to be a subcategory of a subcategory. So if the category, let's just say, is health, then you want to be maybe in women's health, and then more specifically, women after baby health. So do you see how it's a category and then a subcategory of a subcategory? So you want to be 2 levels down that niched, because when you narrow down what it is that you're talking about, then you actually will magnify your message, because the people that are in that specific place in life will hear you. So I started talking about to get unstuck and get to the next level. So I'm talking to women, and in my group I had put Christian women, mostly because I didn't want to edit myself, because that's who I am. I'm of that faith, and I didn't want to, I'm such a people pleaser. I hate to offend people. And so I didn't want to be afraid to speak freely about my faith. And so I purposely put that on my group so that anyone that was offended by that would not be wanting to be a part of it. So I've niched down, it's women, they're most likely of the same faith, and they have been in some kind of a social selling, they've been stuck, they really want to get to the next level, they might need to go back a little bit and have some personal growth. And that is where I come in, and I help them to really get confident in who they are and help them move forward. So because I'm really dialing in, and it's a process, but as I'm really dialing in more and more and more who I'm looking for, more and more people are really resonating with me, and it's working much better. And it will work for you that way as well. And you don't have to pick women or men or anything, like it's all up to you. You get to choose your ideal client, but I want you to get specific. All right, so the next one is about great customer service. The way that you're going to get people to like you is to go over and beyond with incredible customer service. Now remember, you're asking and you're listening, so you should know what your ideal customer mostly needs and wants. And when you meet people and you have those conversations, try to figure out and identify the things that are really important to people. If somebody says that they've, had all of these bad experiences and it was, they felt like the people didn't care about them, then that's a cue to you that for you to give them good customer service, you need to make sure that they feel cared for. And so you're going to have to go that extra mile for them. So you can have things set up in your business that are just on a systemized type thing that are, for instance, if you have like a birthday list or an anniversary list or special occasions list that you can have dates, then you can make sure you send out like little messages or cards or a discount or something on those special days to acknowledge them. So that's customer service. Customer service is having policies in place that when somebody is emailing you or something is happening, that you have ways to make sure that you're not going to miss that you're getting back to them. There was a story from my friend next door, and he works in the communications world, and their phone system was messed up and they didn't really know how to work it, and she owned like a doctor's office. Well, they had messages from people over and over and over where they'd been trying to contact them and they never got back to them, and it was because their system for capturing those leads and messages of the things that were going on was broken. So we have to make sure that we have systems, that we have processes, that we have special things that we are putting in our business that really serve our customers well. So important. Because if you don't serve them well, they will tell all their friends and they'll give you bad reviews. And bad reviews are really hard to overcome. And people use that as social proof. So we have to make sure that we do that. All right, so we have about 5 minutes, so I'll try to hurry up here. I want to make sure that I get you out of here in the 45 minutes I promised. All right, so be attentive to people without being aggressive. And there's a fine line there, because we want to be on top of it, but we don't want to be so like aggressive with the way that we're doing things. So even though we know in our heart that we want them to take a particular action, we may have to finesse them a little bit and give them attention and kind of try to guide them toward where we might be able to drop a message or ask them or offer something to them. But just be aware of being aggressive, but you also have to be attentive. You don't want to ignore them. So it's a little bit of a fine line. And then make sure that when you have a chance to serve them, that you are giving them a first-class experience as best that you can. And, I don't know what that looks like for you or what that would be interpreted for you, but even something as much as I did a retreat and printing something on a heavier stock paper can feel more first class. Sending a handwritten note in the mail can feel very first class. Once a customer comes on board, or taking time to do like an introduction call with people or a sit down with people to give them that one-on-one time as they first create that relationship with you. Have a Zoom call, have a personal phone call. I don't know what that looks like for you, but how can you make it feel very first class, very attentive, very like you are a VIP to me. I care about serving you the best that I can. And the next one is to be generous. And so like I said, my friend, when I did a Zillow review, she gave me brownies. I mean, honestly, it probably cost her $30 or $40. To me, that was a very generous gift. And so my friend May, she's always very, very generous when she meets people and she feeds them and does all of these things. And so what can you do to be generous and to just give of yourself? I am a generous person with my time and service. I all the time will be talking to people on phone calls and stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're not charging me for this. And then I think, gosh, I really should be. Why am I not? But I'm actually just a very, very generous person. So there's, maybe I should be more. And so we don't want to be so generous that we're always giving everything away. But I want you to try to be as generous as possible. My word for the year is give. So I'm definitely working on generosity in multiple ways. The next one is to compliment them. So this is ways online that you can interact with people, is complimenting. If you can see something on their profile, their kids are cute, they're beautiful, you love the way that they present things, anything that you can do to compliment them, man, just like in person, that will melt somebody's heart and they will remember you, because everybody likes to be complimented. And then when people compliment you, you can then again screenshot those and turn them into testimonies. I just had somebody comment yesterday, a really nice comment. I was like, hey, can I use this as a testimony? And she said, sure. And so we can utilize those because that's social proof. The next thing is, we already talked about this, but showing your face. Make sure you are allowing yourself to be seen. Show up on live video. Put your face with your products and services. Put your face on all of your social media stuff. Don't use stock images all the time. Make sure that your face is showing up and you're putting personal, even like snapshot type things. They don't have to be like photo shoot kind of material. It can just be you and your family, or you traveling somewhere, just a snapshot. People want to see you. The more of you, it is a really good thing. So again, back to that Jenna Kutcher that I told you about, the really successful influencer. She did like kind of a test, and she claims that the reason why her business really grew and took off is she started with a test of putting her face on her Instagram for every single picture for like 3 weeks. And her engagement and likes and everything like tripled during the time that she was doing that. And it's like, really? I can't even believe that. But it's just the thing that people really want to have true connection with you. And when they can see you, they have more connection. So it's so powerful. The other one is acknowledging their special occasions. I already talked about that. Letting go, this is a good one. Let go of the expectation for them to buy from you. So here we are, we're serving. We know that we have an intention. We have an intention to take you, dear customer who I just met. I'm going to love on you, I'm going to serve you, but I really do want you to buy from me. But we cannot expect that every single person for sure will choose us, will buy. We don't know all their circumstances, and we can't be judging ourselves about it. We can't be judging them about it. We have to just serve, and stand in faith and stand and know that ours will come. We will get ours, and in the portion that we deserve it. We just have to stay pure-hearted serving and let go of expectations that people do business with us. But make sure that you are doing the message, the offer, and giving them opportunities to do business, because you can't expect them to try to make you make the sale either. So we can't wait for them to just come to us. We need to make the opportunities available for them to say yes or no, but we need to make sure that we let go of the expectation, because there's just nothing really good about it. It's just a way for the enemy to attack us and make us feel small. So we need to not allow that. We just have to let go of it and just sit in the peace, knowing that we are going to be okay. And then the last thing is to be honest. Be honest. Like, don't try to always show ego about things. Just like I'm being honest with you that tomorrow I said, and I've been saying that I'm going to show up live tomorrow at 7. I'm not, but I'm being honest about, I had something else, and I'm not going to, it's okay. And you have to be honest about it. So whatever it is, just be honest about things. If you really dropped the ball because some things were going on in your life, or you hadn't been showing up, just get on there and be honest and say, I'm sorry, you guys. I know that I haven't really been showing up. I just want you to know I have some things going on, and I want you to know I'm back and I'm trying, and that kind of honesty. That's what I mean by that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed learning all of these things about how to create know, like, and trust with your customers, and that you can utilize these things and start putting them in your business. And I promise you that it will make you build loyal customers who refer their friends. It has worked for me, and it can work for you too. Thank you so much for listening. I still would love to hear any of your comments as you've listened to this replay, even if you got to the end. If you want to just leave me a compliment or a comment, or if you want to ask a question, I'm here to support you, and I so appreciate your time, and I honor the fact that I get to speak into your life and help your business grow this year. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.